Greetings, brothers and sisters. We are finally back. We finally made it to another reaction on this Mystelics Reacts channel. Of course, big up all the Mystelics family have tuned into this vibrations. And of course, when you come out today, big up yourself for being part and in part in full and total, brothers and sisters, on this here Mystelics Reacts channel. Welcome to another reaction, brothers and sisters. I appreciate you guys for being here. Don't forget to do what? Click the thumbs up button. Click it, man. Click the like button to help push these videos further and further there, and of course showing support in that regard by definitely clicking the thumbs up button, brothers and sisters. And of course, don't forget, if you're new to this channel, have not subscribed yet, or just have not subscribed yet, definitely click the subscribe button right there, brothers and sisters. You can definitely do so. Click this thing right there so you can get subscribed, so of course you'll be notified when I post my videos and publish them right there. Of course, brothers and sisters, and inadvertently becoming part of the Mystelics family. I said that really fast. And inadvertently becoming part of the Mystelics family right there. And of course, that would be very much appreciated. Welcome to the family, to all the individuals who subscribe. And with that said, with the post notification bell, of course, with that said right there, brothers and sisters, let us get into the vibrations for the day. Of course, a number of persons were sending me this stuff. I probably received this probably like 6 or 7 times. What is going on here, brothers and sisters? Some lady is talking, and of course, this is on actually Dominica breaking news, talking about important information or important message.
Greetings, everyone.
So we're going to learn what it is, brothers and sisters. I'm reacting to this for the very first time. I'm seeing this stuff for the very first time, so yeah, let's get it.
I am back to discuss one of the other pillars of our Constitution. I will read paragraph D of the preamble of our Constitution. Now remember that the preamble of our Constitution is simply the introduction to the Constitution. It is what the people of Dominica thought was important at the time we were led into independence. So paragraph D of the preamble states as follows. It states that whereas the people of Dominica recognize that men and institutions remain free only when freedom is founded upon respect for moral and the spiritual values and the rule of law.
So moral, spiritual value, and the rule of law. That is what the people base their freedom on, brothers and sisters. Not infringing on the rights of others. That very much makes sense, doesn't it?
Having read that paragraph, I think we should think about whether in Dominica we are truly free, whether our institutions are truly free, whether there is a respect for moral values, spiritual values, and the rule of law.
That's an interesting one, especially those who hold certain positions who are supposed to actually keep the rule of law or uphold the rule of law, brothers and sisters, or spiritual values, and of course morality is the key point here on what is right versus wrong. But then again, a number of persons have to say, who defines who's right and wrong? Well, the one who gave life is the one who defined it. Not true. Not you, not me, but the one who gave it. This is why I always tell people the Constitution is not on the basis of what is written there to give people, but it's a reminder that of which the people already have, given by the Creator himself. Whether you believe in the Creator or not, that's your business. But the Creator gave it to brothers and sisters, freedom. And inadvertently, when it comes down to this situation, you do not infringe on the rights of others, brothers and sisters. You do not infringe on it. The freedom of choice. This is why the Creator gave us free will to choose. Right there. Some people want to say, but Mystelics, but how is free will when the Creator already knows what is... Yeah, the Creator already knows what is the future. But he already knows what you're going to be doing. That is the whole basis of it. You still have the freedom of choice. He just knows which one you would have chosen. Anyways, let's continue.
Now we understand that moral values are really simply the standards of good and evil that guide our behavior and our choices.
And even if you're not somebody who believes in the Creator, which is kind of ridiculous to me, but even if you were somebody, there must be some sort of guidance there that will say, okay, this is bad, this is good. Stealing is bad, not stealing is good. You know, sharing with your neighbor is good. Going after your neighbor's wife is bad. You know, something of, you know, that kind of stuff right there, brothers and sisters. It's pretty much evident right there. But then when there's a moral, there must be a moral giver. So it still comes back to the Creator. So anyways, let's continue.
Do we call what is wrong right in this nation?
Brothers and sisters, do we call what is wrong right and right wrong in this nation? Our leaders upholding the true value of what is right, doing the right things versus doing the wrong things. Or they just don't care at all. And in doing so, they who are supposed to uphold the freedoms of people without it being infringed upon, they are the ones that are literally affecting it. We know what the situation involved in the match, match 17, match 19, whichever date, brothers and sisters, where they infringed on the people's constitutional rights. The police did that. Then Mia Motley sent a letter and said one part of it, but she don't read the other part, it seems. And she's the chair. Very interesting times. Brothers and sisters, when the officials have it wrong, it is up to the people to remind them, no, stop your everlasting dirty ways. That is what is written here. It's very clear. It's very clear to see.
We call what is right wrong in this nation. These are the things that determine our moral values, really, that determine our behaviors. Is the standard of good and evil. And moral values, some of the important moral values in this nation would be honesty, integrity.
Brothers and sisters, can we say that we're seeing this in our leaders? Especially when our leaders are saying that we are being honest. This is not a pie in the sky promises. They're blatantly lying to you. But then again, if the people know that the leaders are lying to them, what does that say about the very people who know that their leaders are lying to them? Who then really like the same people knowing that they will lie to you consistently? What does that say about the people? So therefore, inadvertently, the people themselves are causing themselves to cause the leaders to infringe on their own rights. Interesting. Interesting stuff, ain't it?
Responsibility, compassion, forgiveness. Those are some of the moral values that we hold dear in this nation, or we should hold dear, that the people of Dominica thought at the time of our independence was important. Now, in respect of spiritual values, there would be also things like compassion, like gratitude, forgiveness, integrity, love.
She's saying some very important stuff right there. And we talk about the leaders. Are we seeing these things in our leaders? Are we also seeing these things in the people? Because I'll come back to what Professor Lumumba used to say, or has said already many times. The people get what they truly deserve. So if the people like to lie amongst themselves, do you think that they'll have a truthful leader? Or do you think that they are deserving of a truthful leader? If the people themselves are incompetent about making proper decisions that will affect their lives and their future generations, will they not see that there is no need for them to have a competent leader? Therefore, they will vote in ways that will just be based off their own ideologies. It's a sad thing where Peter have to pay for Paul.
Joy, patience, kindness, those are some of our spiritual values.
When the Prime Minister come in and tell people to throw hot water on people, when the Prime Minister Roosevelt Scarrett, is telling his supporters to throw hot water on people when they come to their doorstep, to at least, you know, when you care about your neighbors and you care about your people, hey, let's have a little conversation. Let's see how things can go now. Let's reason. Maybe there are things that you will want to share with me, and I'll say, hey, maybe what you're saying is making sense. Or maybe I have things I want to share with you, and we can reason and see if it makes sense. No, the Prime Minister is then telling people, no, don't let that ever happen. Stay in your ignorance. When they come, throw hot water on them. Because he's scared house. Not true? All right.
And these are some of the things that our founders thought were important. You would note that again we are seeing spiritual value being mentioned in paragraph D, and it was also mentioned in paragraph A in the context of where our founders stated in paragraph A that we believe in Dominica in the supremacy of God. We see that also in our coat of arms. We see that in we as a nation priding ourselves and saying that we were founded on the principles of God. So although we state in our coat of arms after God.
Before she continues, brothers and sisters, let me bring back a little. She's saying something that's very profound, dear brothers and sisters. And I'm thinking to myself, do the people actually know what this is about? Do they teach these things in school, or they teach about Christopher Columbus? Do they teach you about the founding of Dominica, how Dominica was formed, what happened during that time? All we know is a year later they had the uprising, Charles Savary and so forth, unions, blah, blah, blah. That's what we know. But we don't know about the founding, what happened, how did the rules come together, how these things happen to ensure that they had a foundation, brothers and sisters. When you ever learn that in school? And you tell me the education system care about you? They say if you don't know about your past, you know who you are, where you came from, it's best you just walking like a paper flying in the wind. That's how you be. Because you have no idea where your grounding is, brothers and sisters. Even when in Dominica, you live in Dominica, you come from Dominica, and you don't have no understanding of how Dominica was found when it comes down to independence. This is why people can then come back and enslave us. The very people that look like our forefathers that enslaved them in Africa, coming in the Caribbean to enslave the people here, yet again, while they enrich themselves. Brothers and sisters, if you don't understand history, you are doomed to repeat it. Interesting, ain't it?
Pride in ourselves and saying that we were founded on the principles of God. So although we state in our coat of arms, after God the earth, we put God first. We state in paragraph A of the introduction to our constitution that God is supreme in this nation. We also say in paragraph D that there should be a respect for spiritual values.
Interesting stuff. But in this day and age, do even people know who God is? People have a sense of religiosity. People have a sense of religion, but they don't have relationship with the Creator. So for people to understand these things, they must first understand where they are standing with the Creator himself, of whom we call God. Do you understand? No, maybe. If you do not know who God is, far less to know how to treat in respect. This is one of the things I studied the other day, you know. I said the people actually knew on the reaction, live interaction reaction, are saying that, brothers and sisters. Seems like people have no understanding. We call ourselves quote unquote a Christian nation. I think it's a Catholic nation right there with Christians in it, but that's a whole other story. People want to, if you know history, blah, 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 blah. But some people don't even know who God is. They just think God is a religion. It's interesting, eh? So on the fact of spirituality, sometimes people want to remove the essence of energy in the spiritual realm to say, no, forget it. I will do it on my own. How can you be the energy receiver, removing the energy source and say you will have your own energy? Make that make sense. Anyways, I go down a whole other topic right there. Let's continue.
But we have to consider, is there actually a respect for spiritual values in this nation?
Exactly.
Or are we simply paying lip service to that principle?
Because if people know about, they understand the Creator, and the Creator has values and this kind of things there. Even the very Prime Minister who keeps talking about, oh, God this and God this and that, it seems like he's not referencing the Creator himself, he's referencing himself. I remember one point in time when he was giving people buildings or houses for them to stay, and he would put in letters, God gave and he taketh away. Why would you put that in a letter? About God gave and he taketh away. So I give you this, I can take it away. Literally quoting scripture. I said, no scripture too, you know, you see me there. In his dirty ways, he does quote scripture. So, who was he referencing? Himself, making himself a God? Was that it? Because if you understand the principles of the Creator, why would you do all these things? High-class corruption, brothers and sisters. That's the attitude of people that they don't fear the Creator. No, they don't. Because if you fear the Creator, you live by the principles, not true. Also, understanding of the Creator's principles and mankind principles, I understand this sector right there. There's both of them. But the Creator, you call him the Creator and you just dissing him. Just dissing Jah. Yes, man. All right then. Continue.
Then the other thing paragraph D speaks to is the rule of law. The rule of law is simply the institutions, the processes, the practices in this nation that ensures there is an equality of all citizens before the law.
One shouldn't be above the other. I was actually having a podcast in that regard, and you were saying the same thing too. One should not be above the other. Yes, is it one? Whereas that person might be committing a set of crime, and I commit crime for my first time. Yes, we might not get the same sentencing, but because of that person, repeated offender, they might get a harsher sentence. That seems fair to me. It seems fair to me on the basis of equality, because you've been warned over and over and you still continue to do it. That's one of the things one of the individuals was saying on the podcast. So it's interesting to understand that dilemma right there. It's always an equal playing field. If both of us was repeated offenders the same amount of time, we both deserve the same thing. How on earth we had the prime minister, the scared son, cause a man's death, through the use of a vehicle, and they fly him out without any sort of justice or nothing like that. Any sort of recoil, nothing. Just, is that fair? Is that fair? It's not fair at all. So there should be a level playing field when it comes to these things.
This rule is ready to prevent the abuse of power by those who have been given power in this nation.
Are we seeing abuse of power in Dominica, brothers and sisters, by those who have been given authority? Are we seeing that? Are we seeing that in the police force? Are we seeing that in the government system? Are we seeing that in the justice system? Are we seeing these things? And if we are seeing these things, what can be done to rectify these things? What can be done? You have the answers, brothers and sisters. Do you have the answer?
So we have to consider, is there a respect for the rule of law in Dominica?
But by whom? It's like, okay, you have to obey the law, but I don't. Isn't that the feeling you get sometimes? I can do this and you cannot do that. That doesn't create an equal playing field. Therefore, there's no respect for the rule of law. What is good for the goose is good for the gander.
Those in authority, and even we as citizens, do we respect the institutions?
But then again, can you respect the institutions when the leaders at the top are not respecting the institutions themselves? And this is what creates anarchy, brothers and sisters. This is what creates unrest. Because those who are supposed to lead by example are not doing so, and you expect us to lead by example. There's a song that I made, brothers and sisters. How do you expect the good, productive citizens to become good? How do you expect the Dominican citizens to become good, productive citizens when our leaders are literally bending us over? I see that in a song one time. How do you expect the youth to become good, productive citizens when they're watching the leaders do all sorts of craziness, and then wonder what went wrong? When you see you raising children, brothers and sisters, you have to be very mindful of what you see around them, what you do around them, because they will internalize that. They are trying to adapt to the world, to see how the world is and how they can best maneuver in their little minds. So you have to be careful what you do. It's the same sentiment right there. Those we are put in authority are supposed to be the best of the best. Isn't that so? It seems like we are the worst. We have the worst, brothers and sisters. We worst study was there are better suited people that can do the jobs. But they are not in positions. So we have a set of incompetent people running and expecting competency out of it. That is kind of crazy. Right there.
That protect that rule of law? Do we respect those in positions of governance?
Do they deserve the respect? When you look at places like the parliament, brothers and sisters, and you see the cocoa macaque that going on inside there, and they call it the honorable house. Is the honorable house honorable? I mean, actions are supposed to follow suit with the authority given, you know. And when the actions doesn't look like what the authority is supposed to be doing, then you ask questions. Then how can you respect that of which is not following suit with what it should be doing? If you see a teacher is teaching and the teacher is just doing macaque in the school, forming the absolute royal donkey. You expect the students to become thing when they see their teacher forming the royal donkey? Really?
We have to consider that as citizens, but most importantly, remember, those who lead by example.
That's exactly what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying, brothers and sisters. Remember, guys, this is the first time I'm watching this thing. Very first time. So she's right on cue.
So we have to look at their behavior to determine, do they respect the rule of law? By their behavior, do we see that there is an abuse of power and authority?
Yes.
Can we look at our several institutions in this nation? Look at our court system, look at our police system.
I just said that.
Look at our politicians, our government.
Exactly.
The parliament, those who have been placed.
I just say these things. Everything she mentioned, I just say it. I just ask, is the parliament an honorable house? When you see the macaque going on there.
In authority, can we say that they respect the rule of law? Because respect must start from the head.
Exactly. And how does it be? Just like when you're looking at fathers and mothers. Let's look at fathers, brothers and sisters. A father is not fathering, and therefore the children grow up with a man that they just say is a sperm donor. You know, sometimes I hear children literally saying that about their fathers. I find that crazy, you know. They don't have that respect because the father was not holding on to his responsibility. Either that or the woman caused him not to hold on to his responsibility by trying to keep him away or punish him by keeping him away from his children. But let's forget the latter. Let's look at that part where a father is not actually upholding his responsibility as a father. Where a mother is not upholding her responsibility as a mother. Some mothers want to believe that they are friends to their children. You are not a friend to your daughter. You are not their friend. You are their mother, and as such, you should be guided accordingly. This is why sometimes daughters and sons grow up dissing their mothers. I see people cursing their mothers already. What? Gassa. I see that. I almost jump and hit the person in the thumb. But YouTube, mind me please. That is crazy, right, brothers and sisters. So if you're not seeing it, we're not seeing the examples. There's not a lot of good examples when it comes on to wanting society to be better. And when you have leaders that do all sorts of magia and corruption and telling people this and they're not meaning this. Brothers and sisters, one of the things that I like to do is listen to people's words. But I think my father put that inside me, man, like clockwork, man. Listen to people's words. And then look at the action that backs up the things that they say. That's why a lot of people trust me, you know. A lot of people trust me. Sometimes I might say something to somebody and they don't understand why I'm saying it, but because I say they believe it and they run with it. And it usually helps them. Because I'm not a person that tries to spite people. And it helps them, brothers and sisters. And I'm saying not everything, I'm not God or whatever, you know. Some people want to, not that. When I know a lot of people, I get a lot of information from different people. Thousands of people I get information from. When it works for some people, I know I see a pattern, and I share that with other people as well. That's why I don't understand how people can be isolating themselves and expect to know best. Oh, I can do this all by myself. Oh, me, I can do this. I don't need nobody. Lies that day. Anyways, I sidetracked it. Let's get back.
By those who lead, and it will trickle down to those who are being led because they see and they follow by the example of our leaders. So we have to...
Now, brothers and sisters, keep in mind, as she says something very nice there. But there's also the individuals. Just like when there's certain understanding where they might say, well, if parents raising children in the best way possible, and these children end up turning wayward, or these children end up being, you know, criminals in society or something of that sort. And you check about these people come from good parenting, yeah? But there's also the internal aspect where sometimes you have leaders doing certain things. And take, for example, Burkina Faso. They realized that the leader was forming the royal donkey with them. They woke up and say, you know what, guys, enough is enough. We cannot take this anymore. We have so much resources, So much resources. And for some reason, we are not seeing it in the country, not seeing it there. And as a result, the people rose up, not following their leaders, overtaking their present leaders. Is this something that is needed in Dominica, guys? When you see that Dominica has so much resources, that thought just come to mind there, you know. Using what happened in Burkina Faso. So much resources Dominica has. Dominica and Spain set up too much money while making very little with all the resources and the beauty and the creation that has been given to us to utilize. And our leaders just pimping us over and over, giving us how much loans. They're giving us, going and take how much loan on behalf of us and having us pay these loans. I remember back in the day, like I mentioned, when we were talking yesterday in the BrBpTV live interaction podcast. We were talking about what was happening back then. $300 million debt Dominica had. $300 million debt Dominica had. And of course, some of it was going into the airport, the international airport that was under United Workers' Party. Then Dominica grew to 1.5 billion, 1.6 billion. It was 1.5, it went back down to 1.1, then it grew to 1.6 billion dollars, brothers and sisters, that Dominica is owing. Who do you think has to pay it back? Huh? Do you think 300 million would be better to pay than 1.6 billion dollars, and they go and take more loan on our backs? Who do you think has to pay it back? And what is even crazier, brothers and sisters, is when they go into the national bank where you put in your money, they're going to take a loan. They're going to take a loan on the people's money, and the same people's money they take to take loan, the very people have to pay it back. When they go to the national bank where you put the Dominican people put in their money and the Dominican government go for a loan in the national bank, who you think have to pay it back? Not the people. They're taking your money and then you have to pay back your own money to the bank. That's how, look at it. Hey, let's continue.
And it will trickle down to those who are being led because they see and they follow by the example of our leaders. So we have to consider, is there a respect for the rule of law in this nation?
And it shouldn't be so for one set, it should be for all, including the leaders that believe that they are above the law. Nobody is above the law. And apparently the police don't seem to understand this. The police don't seem to understand this at all.
Is there a respect for the processes? Is there a respect for the institutions? Is there a respect for the citizens?
And the question here is, who is overseeing these people who are doing these things? Who are breaking the law? Who is the overseer of these things? Who? The people. If the police is not doing their job, it comes back to the people. But apparently the people are not, the people have no clue. The people are supposed to unify, brothers and sisters. That is where the unity comes from. But apparently people are so far gone, they don't even know it's they that supposed to be the overseers. The government from in Makakui changed the government. The police doing Makakui, we come together, we protest against that and tell him, take him out. He's not supposed to be there. The people, when they are unified, are the ones who are supposed to hold this individual. Who else is supposed to be the overseer? Who? Somebody tell me.
You have to look at those in authority to see, do they actually respect us as citizens? For example, the one that comes to mind most times when we discuss the issue of rule of law and the abuse of power is the police. By the police behavior, do they respect the citizens? And the citizens...
And sometimes the police, they bringing police to train. I wonder what they're teaching them in the thing. Because how on earth you infringing on people's rights? How on earth you infringe on the people's rights given, written by the Constitution, upheld by the Constitution, and you bold facing off? Really? The Constitution clearly states that people have the right to assemble. The right to assemble. They're not causing chaos or riot or nothing. They want to assemble. You're blocking the people from having the ability to assemble. And when the people say, no, this is all right, they're doing their ruckus, you then going after them because you infringe on their right. Brothers and sisters, make that make sense for me, please.
In return, do we respect the police? There must be respect on both sides.
But it has to come down to the police being respectable. Some of these police are not respectable. Look at the Minister of National Security. Big joke. A big joke. Even going further back, what about the allegations about baby Sarah? What about these things? Are we that blind? Then you see and you hearing all these things instead of come and clear this information for the people to ensure that the people have some sort of, some understanding or closure when it comes up to the situation. None of that happening. And you expect the people to respect the police.
In order for everything in this nation to work together and for things to flow smoothly, there can only be true freedom when our institutions and our citizens respect moral values, we respect spiritual values, and we respect the rule of law.
Yeah.
I think that we should consider that today, and we are past the stage of petty politics. Petty politics was soft food.
But I think it's still there. But then again, you see a lot of people relying on their feelings instead of understanding where exactly they should go from the understanding of how things work. But instead, they forget that. Just like when you bring in information for people and they say, oh, what you're saying, it makes sense. It's making sense. But they still reject what you're saying, even if it's making sense. And it literally destroys their worldview. It destroys their worldview completely. They cannot deny it, but they stick into their worldview because that's how I feel. Just like when you present certain things to people and they say, but what you're saying, they make sense, boy, Mystelics. What you're saying, they make sense, But my mother was this and my mother was that. That's why we can't have nice things.
We have graduated from that. We are at
I hope
the point in the independence of this nation where we have to look at hard food, not soft food.
But sister, you are hoping that there's true independence. This we could claim Dominica as independent, but Dominica has a lot of dependency going on. And you know who created it? The very government officials have created it. I remember when it started with Red Clinic. People believe that they didn't have to go and work anymore. They just go for the free money or whatever. And they constantly doing that. Still the government start taking it out bit by bit, to where they don't have to give the people nothing again. How do I know this? The lady in Granby crying for a bag of cement. She said, I vote for all, you never give me my bag of cement, so I come for my bag of cement. They don't give her nothing, brothers and sisters. That's the state. They're hoping. In psychology, brainwashing, that is, that is complete brainwashing. They're hoping that what was happening with Red Clinic. Hoping they'll just go and get free money. Their money they go and get, to keep them enslaved.
We have to look at putting aside petty politics, putting aside make-we, and getting into the nitty-gritty of things, and look at whether or not we as citizens and those who lead us are doing what they need to do to ensure that the foundations of this nation are not crumbling.
But you talk about petty politics. What is petty politics? Brothers and sisters, what is petty politics? What is that? I always heard people saying these things. Petty politics. Does that make sense? And there's partition, petty, what is what I'm looking for? There's petty partisan, whatever is its name, brothers and sisters. There's people who are petty for their party. They're petty for their party, even their party doing wrong, they don't care. They're petty for their party. And it happens for both sides, both United Workers' Party and the Dominica Labour Party. It happens on both sides. Because in my understanding of what was happening in American politics, it dawned on me, it shocked me. And then people asking me, how could I side with that particular person? I'm like, really? Are you not paying attention? And then it dawned on me that the same understanding that the very laborites have in Dominica, some of these very people in the United States have, even though they are against the Dominica Labour Party. Some people are supporting the very thing that they are against in Dominica. Can you imagine that? Because it's about my party. Yay, me, party. Ooh.
We have to examine it ourselves. We have to examine our leaders. And if they are not doing what they are supposed to do, we have to pull them up.
And not just doing what they're supposed to do, we're supposed to have a background check on them as well. A number of persons have no clue about who their leader is. No clue. They don't know what they've done. There's no sort of fall back on them. Nothing of that sort. They look at people like Dr. Thompson Fountain and the track record that they have. Not saying that track record is perfect, but I have seen the work being done. You look at the track record of Skerrit. Give the young man a chance. The young man get a chance upon a chance and another chance and another chance and another chance and another chance. May say, how much chance? You have to give the young man until he get old. You don't see what happening to the country? Give the young man a chance. The young man is not a young man anymore, brothers and sisters. And look at the state of Dominica. Because they refuse to do the background checks of the individuals. That's one of the things I like about US politics, you know, brothers. They tend to do all sorts of background check on you. That's why I know all this craziness Kamala was doing. That's how about the madness Biden was doing. Racist. Say, I don't want my children to grow up with black children. That, and black people, boy. Let me just continue.
Pull them up by stating that, hey, this is what we expect from you, and you are not doing it. And if you are not doing it, you are not providing an example for us, and we cannot do it. Because we know people who are being led always look to the leaders.
True.
For guidance. And if we see that those who lead our institutions, those who are in powers of authority, have no respect for spiritual values, have no respect for moral values, and have no respect for rule of law, then the citizens will follow the same thing.
Yeah, that you're right. And that is where the individuals who are supposed to have themselves, like I was mentioning about the parents raising children, good parents raising children, and sometimes the children turn out bad. Because of the children's internal makeup, how they understand the world. There are also children who raise up with bad parents and end up coming really good. So I guess it's up to the individual to realize, hey guys, something is going on. And we need to wake up and wise it up and say, hey, this is not good for us or our future. This is not good for us or children's future. And therefore we cannot have these people there. But it's so very interesting that the Prime Minister knows this. And this is why one of the reasons why they tend to always go overseas for more voters to come into the country to tilt this scale to their favor. That's why I always say, brothers and sisters, Dominica wants change. A number of Dominicans don't want to vote. It's crazy. I don't understand why. But you know you need change and you say you don't want to vote. Foolish. So what the Prime Minister does, he knows even if the Dominicans not voting, he still has a fighting chance of losing. So he goes overseas to get people who would vote for him and bring in thousands upon thousands of people who don't even care about Dominica or whatever. Oh, I patriotic. Ooh, come back Dominica and stay. Just like the Labour partner, he say he come down Dominica, he can't wait to go. Well, why you go back for? You should have stayed. You should have stayed in Dominica. He says he stays 7 months, come back America. Talking about he can't wait to go back. You should have stayed in Dominica. People always patriotic when they're outside and say, oh, Dominica, Dominica. But they hardly come back. I know people who haven't been to Dominica 15, 20 years. There's a man in Canada who hasn't been to Dominica for over 50 years, the boy tell me. 50 years, the man tell me he hasn't been to Dominica. 50 years. And it's my videos he watching to see what's going on.
So we might complain about the behavior of the citizens. We may complain about the behavior of the citizens, but as leaders, what are we showing them? They are giving back what we give them. What we teach them, that's what they are now doing. So I want us this week to think about that. Think about whether or not there is a respect for moral values, spiritual values, and the rule of law. And when we come to a conclusion we will know whether in Dominica we are truly free and our institutions in this nation are truly free.
I like that. I like that, brothers and sisters. Are we truly free in Dominica? Who is taking away our freedom from us? And are the people also responsible for what they have done to themselves? Moral, spiritual, and rule of law. Very interesting time. Kudos to this young lady right there. I say young lady, probably, well, she will let me for sure. But kudos to this young lady right there, no doubt about it. Thanks for the information. It seems like you're on different paths or something. But thank you so much, guys. Just continue sending me these videos. If she posting more videos right there, send me them as well. I would definitely react to every single one, because it seems like she's doing the thing that the lawyers who claim that they want to share information, apparently they're not doing it. So she's doing it apparently for us right there. I mean, these things I already know, but thanks again for definitely sharing with us, guys. What are your thoughts, man? If you like what she's saying, click the thumbs up button. I'll also post this link in the video description, so you guys can check it uninterrupted. Definitely do so if you want to do that, brothers and sisters. And of course, don't forget to click the thumbs up button. I would appreciate that right there. Subscribe if you've done so. Click the subscribe button so you can get the latest vibrations where they do definitely tend to come through. And of course, turn on that post notifications so you'll be notified every time I post, and inevitably become part of Mystelics family right there. It's about Mystelics once again, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Be real. Saturday King always. Be positive.